as soon as I go live, I got a frog in my throat. Hello to my lovely pumpkins. How are you today? Tonight we have a special guest with us, and the special guest is not Merlin, although he would love to be our special guest. My special guest tonight is Christiana Gaudet. I just sent her the link. I'm always running a few minutes behind. I tried to be on time, but I guess not. I'll do some hellos. Hello to my amazing mods, Cheryl and Becky, and hello to Marcos. And I am adding Christiana to the stream. Hello.
Hi. I am not hearing you.
Oh.
I can see you. You can hear me, but I can't hear you, and my sound is on.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what's up with that.
Let's try.
Can you send me psychic messages?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's try this.
I'm wondering if other people can hear you. No. Should I let me back out and come back in? Oh, your mic is muted. I can see it. Your mic is muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Well, now it's not muted, but I still can't hear you. So what's up with that?
Okay. Audio. Default mic.
You can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't hear you. Let's see.
Hear me now?
What's going on? Let me just check my settings. Yeah, my sound is up. There's no reason that I shouldn't be able to hear you. Let me back out and come back in. Might that help? Yeah. Okay, I'm leaving now. I'll be right back.
Yeah, let's try that. Okay. Hi, Cat. We started with Cat. Okay, pardon technical difficulties. Maybe this is a Mercury retrograde hangover. Merlin, I love you intensely, but you need to let mommy work, please. Okay? Hey, Mixie. No, we're just getting started and we're having technical difficulties. So hang out. Hey, Marissa. So no, we haven't got started yet. Merlin, love of my life. Enough. Can you go to your bed, please? Go to your bed. Merlin, go to your bed. Good boy. He listens. Kind of, sort of. He stopped halfway there. Okay. Good boy. And now he's back. He's like, okay, Mom, I went to my bed. I'm a good boy. Here I am. I love him so much. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Enough. Could you sit on your bum, please? Sit. Merlin, sit. No, that's not a sit. This is a sit. Good boy. And shake a paw. And give me a high five. Okay, off. No, this is not time to play. Off. Go to your bed. You're watching me discipline my dog here. I am always so nervous. Off. I'm always so nervous about disciplining him on camera because, okay, fine, you can have that. Because, Merlin, enough. Okay, I'm always nervous about disciplining my dog because I don't want someone to, like, call the Humane Society on me if I'm yelling too much. Hello, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. How are you?
Yay! So let's call that a hangover from Mercury retrograde.
I'm with you. Here we are. Can you hear me and see me okay?
I can hear you and see you just fine. Chat, can you hear us and see us okay? Give us some thumbs up if you could hear us and see us okay.
Yay.
All right.
Okay.
Merlin, enough.
Thank you for your
you're welcome. my lovely beagle, he's 2.5. He is normally he's been chill all day, and the second I start talking to the camera, he's all over me. So and usually I'd take him to the DOG PARK before we get started, but I didn't because it's raining. So okay, everyone, please welcome our esteemed guest. Christiana Gaudet is. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
You are, yes.
Okay. Is a mentor of mine, mentor meaning I actually have paid her to tell me what to do with my tarot career. She's been a tarot reader for over 20 years, I believe.
Oh, 25 professionally, yeah.
Okay. And she literally wrote the book on how to be a professional tarot reader. When I say literally wrote the book, I am not being figurative. She literally wrote the book on how to be a professional tarot reader. This is gold. It is practical advice. I met her through another tarot reader, Jenna Matlin, who's fantastic. And the three of us are going to get together after COVID and drink adult beverages on the beach in Florida. That's the plan. So,
yes. StarCon.
Okay. Yes.
January.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I have been kind of hinting, and I dropped it because COVID, but I might bring up again to Marcus. So Marcus Katz is the head of the International Tarot Association, which I'm a member. I don't know if you're a member. Actually, my membership is currently lapsed, and I just keep forgetting to renew it. But of having TarotCon North in Toronto, that's what I would like to do in at some point. And I know we keep trying to have the TarotCon in Florida, and then hurricanes happen. But
right. So now we're doing StarCon, which is homegrown by me.
Okay,
and that's what we're doing.
Perfect. Yeah. But yeah, October in Canada is gorgeous. I mean, Canada's a very big place, but October in southwestern Ontario is gorgeous. That's when the weather is still nice. Like you can probably go out with a jacket, but the leaves are turning, and it's so that's kind of my idea that I need to bring up to Marcus again now that the world is coming back to normal. Anyways, so tonight we're going to be talking about some myths and rumors and rituals and rules about tarot. I specifically did not send you a list to think about because I didn't kind of want to know your answer. I'm actually hoping that we have different points of view so that we can have a good debate. I think that's healthy among adults to have different points of view, but because you're my mentor, I probably have a lot of, Okay, so the book is Fortune Stellar. Actually, Christiana, do you want to tell people about your book?
Yeah, so Fortune Stellar was my first book. It is Fortune Stellar, what every professional tarot reader needs to know. It's in its second edition. And in the second edition, I added like 100 new pages because I had to, because technology had changed so much.
Exactly.
I've also written Tarot Tour Guide, also in its second edition. Fortune Stellar is for anyone who is a professional reader or wants to be. Tarot Tour Guide is for anyone. Okay.
And I actually have the first edition back here as well. And I'm really glad that you updated it because the first edition, I mean, what year did you first publish in?
It was 2011.
Yeah. And you were still talking about like MySpace and that was kind of before Facebook became a thing. So yeah, so much of our technology changes and our social media changes. And even now, like Facebook's becoming less of a thing. And I mean, the groups on Facebook are still a thing, but there's so many new ones coming out, Clubhouse and, TikTok's really huge. I can't really do TikTok because I can't keep all my talking under a minute. They've got a 3-minute one coming out soon, apparently. So maybe I can talk for that long. So I also do want to let you know, I have a newish laptop, which is a piece of garbage, and the RAM on it is awful. I actually found out my old laptop is fixable. I just need like the keyboard replaced because a certain puppy spilled wine all over it.
Why was your puppy drinking wine?
Pardon me?
Why was your puppy drinking wine?
He's trying. He's trying. I drink out of a sippy cup now. This isn't wine. This is just juice and water. But so one thing that I do you know Sarah Mastros? I don't know. If Okay, so she was on the show a while ago, and I ended up lagging really badly, and then there was a delay, and then it sounded like I was interrupting her. I wasn't interrupting her. It was just the lag. So yeah, it ended up coming across when you watch the video like I'm talking over her and I'm interrupting her, but it was just lag stuff. Okay, so let's start with some tarot rumors. And we'll start with the easy one. Now, there was a big issue that happened on Facebook, which was kind of, I'd wanted to do this episode, and it was very timely that there was an issue that happened on YouTube and YouTube drama that kind of blew up, and I ended up having to turn off comments for my first time ever, because there was a lot. There's a lot. Yeah, so I think I know that I can tend to get chatty, and I see this almost more of a like your guest star co-host than this as an interview, so it's going to just be casual and we'll chit chat. But at 7:45, I want to try to make sure that I'm covering the issue of tarot and consent, because that was kind of the big one. So yeah, I don't want to miss that. So then we'll have at least 15 minutes to talk about that. We shall see how things go. One of my mods is all the way in the Netherlands. So Cheryl, you need to go to bed after this. I have the best mods. No, I'm really grateful. Hello, Connie. And did I miss anyone else? So I usually have a really great group. Oh, hello, Welsh Rose. I think I've got everybody. Okay. If I've missed you, I do apologize.
Marco's Herring, who is actually Anna. So nice to see you. Glad you're here.
Oh, hello, Anna. Okay, so our first question. You should only use tarot decks, or alternatively, tarot decks are only effective if they are given to you as a gift. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, please, gag me. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And yes, it is a thing. And I've even heard it's okay to steal them. You can receive them as a gift, or you can steal them, but you cannot buy them. How ridiculous is that? If you want a deck, buy it. Your first deck, your 150th deck, please buy tarot decks. Support the tarot industry. That's how I think.
I agree. I'm going to put a little twist on that, and I would say that a tarot gift or a tarot deck that you really want and that you really like is a beautiful gift to give to yourself. So buying yourself a tarot deck is self-care. And for you and I, it's also a tax write-off. So
that is very true. And now, if someone would like to give me a tarot deck, I'm more than happy to receive such a gift. It's a great gift. Tarot decks make great gifts, but you don't have to wait. You can certainly buy your own deck.
Yes. So I actually have several decks that are swimming around in my head that I want to make, and my block. So I went to art school like a million years ago, and then my daughter was born right after high school, and then I kind of stopped drawing. So this deck has become like it just lives in here. So I will give you the first copy then when I get one of my mini decks.
That would make me really happy.
Yeah, I want to do a Toronto deck, and it pretty well writes itself. So, okay, hello, Wickedly Witchy. Okay, so that was one of them. Here's me in my brilliance. I'm just going to remember these questions and not write them down.
Oh man, I've got one for you.
Go ahead.
Can't read for yourself. Can't read tarot for yourself.
Yeah, I actually. Oh crap, he doesn't. One moment, please.
Okay, I'm going to take over with this one. So there are a lot of people who say you can't read your own cards. And I recognize, or you shouldn't read your own cards, or even it's bad luck to read your own cards. Now, I would say it is true that sometimes it's great to get a reading with someone else to get an objective take. That's a great thing. But I would say if you can't read your own cards, you sure shouldn't be reading anyone else's cards.
And guess who wants to read my cards?
Apparently a puppy.
I really should have taken him to the DOG, Pierre. Okay. Anyways, despite the rain, because now, yeah, he's been chill all day. And now he's full of beans. So I agree on that totally. In fact, I think that if you are learning tarot, that you should be reading yourself every day. And
Absolutely.
I say this for two reasons. Number one is that you are going to be able to keep better track of your own accuracy, because when you're learning, like, cards are going to have nuanced meanings for every person. And when you are, so you know, like, if you predict that someone is going to, if you get like the Queen of Cups is going to come to your door or something like that, and your lovely neighbor shows up with a pound cake or whatever, well, I'd say that's pretty accurate.
There it is. There it is.
So, and also, it teaches you the difference between the voice of your ego and the voice of your intuition. And that's huge, because that is, if someone's inaccurate, it's usually because they're reading from their bias. And you need to learn the difference of that voice, and that's how you become good. If you're learning tarot, like, I always look at tarot as being a language. And so if you're learning to speak a new language, the best way is to practice by yourself, and to just think like, what word does that mean, or what card represents this situation right now, and to practice every day. And you might not have a subject to practice on every day. So I think reading for yourself is an excellent idea, especially when you're new.
Absolutely. And it helps us learn about ourselves. It helps us heal ourselves. And it helps us, as you say, learn how the cards speak to us. Yeah.
Which is going to be another misconception that we're actually going through these really fast. So we're going to get to that tarot and consent one pretty soon, I think. That you have to be a psychic to read tarot. And I like this question a lot.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. You tell me what you think. I've got a ton load to say on this.
Me too. So
Okay,
I think we talked about before that the word psychic kind of goes in and out of fashion. And I don't consider myself psychic. I know a lot of people like to assume that I'm psychic, and because my accuracy is good, and they want to call me an empath, and they want to call me a psychic, or they want to call me an intuitive. And for me, like, it's just a language, and I have always been very good with languages, and that's how I picked up tarot. So, like, learning tarot for me was the same as learning Spanish for me. And there are atheists who read tarot. Like, it doesn't have to be a spiritual experience. I think that it is a spiritually peak experience for me. So, like, I feel a natural high. I feel like I've connected with, some sort of divine energy, but, like, you can feel that way after sex. So I think that it doesn't necessarily have to be about spirituality or about being psychic. I think anyone can learn a language. There are people who are going to be better at learning languages. There are people who are going to struggle a bit more, but anyone can do this. And for me, it's almost been like an assistive device. Being autistic and not being able to understand my world around me, a tarot deck for me is the same as like a cane or a hearing aid or glasses for someone who has some other issues sensing their world. I'm just going to say some hellos quick. Hello, McC. Hello, Anna. And hello, Black Swan. Okay, and then you can go ahead.
Okay. Okay. I had a conversation with someone recently, first of all, about the difference between psychic and intuitive. And I had always used those words interchangeably, and now I don't. This was actually Serena Fox, who's another great reader.
Okay.
Said, so intuitive is really what comes from within you. Psychic is what comes from outside of you. So mediumship, psychic, inner voice knowing, intuitive. Okay, so that's that distinction that I did not make before, that I do now. I do too. And my thing is this. Even though tarot began as a mundane game and is still played in France as a mundane game, and I get really ticked off when people like talk about spiritual origins of the tarot. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Historically, show me the evidence, right? But nonetheless, tarot is magical. Somewhere along the line that happened. And I really believe this. I'm not an animist. I don't believe my deck is alive. It's cardboard. I'm really sure of that. But there is something magical there. And I see it and I feel it and I know it. Or I think it. Anyway. And I believe that if you use tarot and you work with tarot, it is very likely that if you have within you a tendency toward mediumship, toward psychism, toward being intuitive, tarot is going to open that up and help you access that. So do you have to identify as psychic to read tarot? No. If you're a good tarot reader, I think you probably are psychic, whether you call yourself that or not. I think there's something going on there. And, you know, different people will use it different ways. I never thought of myself as a medium until I started having conversations with my clients' deceased loved ones, which started with the cards.
Yeah.
And so it, you know, it can open up in all kinds of ways, and it's different for every person.
Yeah, there's a book that I keep meaning to read, but I like the title of it. And it's by Lon Maledicat, and it's all in your head. You just have no idea how big your head is. And I think that's what a great title for a book, right? And so I really am amazed. I consider myself to be a humanist in many ways. And so I think that humans are really fantastic creatures, and there's stuff that happens in our heads and in our mental life that we have no ability to explain and no ability to talk about, but that doesn't mean that it's not real. We just don't have ways to measure that yet. And for me, that's what tarot taps into. It's like a lot for me is like the whole collective unconscious. So one of the reasons I don't like the word psychic is because of the stereotypes, which, you know, comes from Hollywood of psychic means know everything.
Hollywood has really, and I teach psychic development, and that's the first thing I say is, you know, Hollywood has screwed this up for us because you expect your psychic experience to come with a soundtrack and to come with like a clear feeling that I'm having an experience. And no, it's not like that.
Yeah. And that psychic means telepathy. Like, I mean, how many times in the 25 years that you've been a pro reader has someone asked you for the lottery numbers? And
I have an answer for that, which is if I could do that, we would not be sitting here doing this right now.
Exactly. And when as I said, when I'm reading tarot and I feel like I'm tapping into that collective unconscious, that we are all connected somehow. And many spiritual paths believe that we all started out, whether, you know, the one source is of God, whether the one source is the Big Bang, whether the one source is something, we are all connected and we have access to all of that information, whether you call that collective unconscious or Akashic records or however you want to label that. And so that's what I think I'm tapping into. And so the lottery numbers aren't in there, but you know, the where my grandfather dug the hole to put the coffee can with all the money in it has been lost to time. But that doesn't mean that I can't, you know, look at intentions, that I can't look at, you know, the deeper truth of something. I talked about in a video recently that one of the things with being autistic is misinterpreting the intentions of men. And I didn't understand that Netflix and chill didn't mean watching Netflix and relaxing. And that took me a while. So when I don't understand someone's intentions towards me, I think tarot has been really helpful with that. And has kept me safe because, you know, not having that natural ability to read other people has put me in danger before. So I think that tarot's, again, an assistive device for me.
Sure. So I noticed a couple of questions that I think are pertinent, if I may.
Yes, I have a bad
Marissa.
habit of ignoring my chat just because it's too much for me to focus on all at once, which is why I have fantastic
From Marissa, do the cards always mean the same thing? Like if I pull a card and you pull the same card, should the interpretation be similar, or can we have individual feelings for what cards are assigned? Now, there's a topic.
Yeah.
Can I answer and then you answer?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay. So great question. Really, really important question. And here's how I see it. There are sort of classic interpretations. And when you study tarot, you learn your classic interpretations. There are also different traditions of tarot, and those classic interpretations may be different from tradition to tradition. There are also correspondences and associations, numerology, astrology, the four elements, all of that, and that will add to it. And a good tarot reader knows those things. However, in a reading, any card can mean anything based on the other cards that come up around it.
Exactly.
What you feel when you look at it, the context of the question, and any other thing. So, I've seen people who know nothing about tarot pull a card and speak truth from that card, because you can do that. Tarot does work that way, just from the images and just from the energy of it. And that's legit. But if you know the classic kinds of associations and interpretations, you are still able and should put your own spin on it based on intuition, based on context, and based on whatever else is coming in for you. That's what I say. What do you think, Caroline?
I agree. And I think that people also develop individual meanings for the cards. And that those meanings are all valid. So if a card means something to me and a card means something different to you, that's still true. And I remember there's another YouTube tarot reader, and actually he for Pride Month, so this guy is like just blown up recently, and he has his a picture like a big post on in Times Square. So yeah, his face is in Times Square right now for reading tarot. So his name's Aphrodite. And so for me, when I look at the Justice card, it's either about the justice system of something being like dealing with the law, or it's been like something being unfair and unjust, or just and fair. And so for him, when he sees Justice card reversed, that for him is about breaking the law. And I was like, oh, that's a really, like, I don't know why that didn't dawn on me in the years I've been reading. For me, the Five of Pence, for a lot of people, is about poverty and is about hardship and strife. And I have come to also see that card as meaning working with people who are special needs and dealing with hardship and strife and poverty. So things like social workers and workers at various healthcare workers who work in, addictions work and things like that. So yeah, I had a young girl come to me once. She was 16, and she's like, I'm thinking of going to college. What should I take? And that card came up for me, that of the Five of Pence.
Right.
And it didn't feel like, you're just going to be poor for the rest of your life. It really felt like we're going to be working in some sort of social services capacity. And the next card I pulled was the Six of Cups, so childhood and children. So it looks like you're going to be working with disadvantaged kids. And she's like, well, actually, I'm considering being a developmental service worker, which is someone who works with disabled kids. And so it really ended up being a positive thing for her and confirmed what she wanted to do with her life. So that's like my personal interpretation, which may be different than what the traditional reading is, but that doesn't make it wrong. And there's been times also as well that I've had like something pop into my head. So I'm used to reading a card a certain way, and then the card will come up and I'll just like, oh, in this situation, it means this. So a person dealing with a breakup and feeling absolutely like their world is coming to an end. And I pull the world reversed, and it's not the end of the world. Like, I know this feels like it's the end of the world, but it's not the end of the world. And that just felt really right in that situation. So yes, they can mean different things. And tarot is also like, it looks like, being a language, like other cards change the meaning. So if you're looking at the Chariot card, which is often about like being driven and being in control and being powerful, and then you put that with like the Fool reversed or the Tower, then that could mean like a car accident. So it's
and put it with justice, and you get a speeding ticket.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I think that kind of nuanced language is so important in reading tarot. And that's actually why I shy away from doing card of the day, because I like looking at the context. So I will do like 3 cards, or more likely 4 cards. So like a situation, past, present, future, or situation, body, mind, spirit. And then I can kind of look at how the meaning of the cards change through that. So yeah, a quick card reading is usually not a pick a card. Although sometimes at psychic fairs, like if it's kind of slow and there's lots of kids around, I'll kind of let them do a free like pick a card, and then I'll tell them about what the card means to them, or just something like that. But usually I like seeing the card in context and not just a random phrase of card around. if that makes sense. I'm hoping that makes sense to everybody. Okay.
So Cheryl's asked a question regarding the origin of tarot. When we talk about, yeah, there you go, you got it. Do you think the magic was there in the beginning and it took open people to see the resource? That is a damn good question. You know, how is it? Go ahead.
And part of that is the mystery of how tarot originated. Like, there are some people who will say that tarot is ancient and the ancient Egyptians brought it over. And I've heard like that the Roma people brought it over to India. And most likely, looking at the records that we have of tarot, it most likely originated sometime in the Renaissance, French or Italian Renaissance.
I have to disagree with you. It is not most likely. Not most likely. There is no evidence for anything other than the first tarot deck, Visconti Sforza, made to commemorate the wedding of those two families, the Sforza family and the Visconti family. And that's like 1390 in Italy. And there's nothing. There's nothing. So all of that other stuff, it came from outer space aliens. They found it in Egypt. All of that, we know where those stories came from. We can find the first person who told those stories, but there's no evidence. And it drives me freaking nuts that tarotists, respected tarotists, professional tarotists, still propagate this crap. That's what I have to say about that.
And I know that it was originally made as a game, and I didn't know that it's still being played in France. That's awesome.
Yeah, and in fact, they think we're ridiculous. They gather together like once a week, these big tarot clubs that play these games, and it's like it's a Trump-taking game like bridge. Yeah. And they think we are crazy for putting all of this that we put into tarot, because for them, it's just a deck of cards, right?
I know a few years ago, my daughter and I went to, actually, you and I will have very different histories about this, with you being American and me being Canadian. So War of 1812, there's a, not far from where I'm living now, there's a few like museums about War of 1812. And so they were talking about some history, and when gambling was considered illegal, they'd put pictures on playing cards and Bible verses on playing cards, so that if you were playing poker and there were Bible verses on the playing cards, it was not sinful. So to be playing poker.
I love that.
So I would love my hands on one of those decks. So that would have been 1812.
Can you imagine divining with that? That would be perfect for divination.
That would be so much fun.
Yes, it would. It's like bibliomancy and cartomancy all together. I love it. But we haven't answered Cheryl's question. Do you think the magic was there in the beginning? And I don't know. I just, it's a great mystery to me. And I love the spiritual nature of mystery. And so I just let the mystery be. What do you think?
Yeah, good old high priestess, right? I think that it was created first as a game, and then the spiritual meanings were put on after, and the magic was put on after. And I think it's kind of like the Norse runes or the tarot ogham, that it's because those are just, it's an alphabet, it's letters, and it was centuries after that they started putting that modern pagans started putting a magical meaning onto these runes, where it was just that would be like and I guess people do that kind of with numerology and looking at like what your name means if you spell that out. But it's not necessarily like, the letter Q means this, and I guess the letter Q does mean a lot right now.
But if you look at the Hebrew alphabet was always prophetic as well as phonetic.
Very good point.
From the very beginning. And so the concept of the runic alphabet being the same is not far-fetched.
Yeah. It's a very good point.
What do we got next here?
Let's see what we can get. Weird story. So Cap says, I have a weird story about some guy. Where we go? And again, like, you see the question before I do, because my computer's so slow. The guy telling me that he'd noticed during a concert that I thought it was an indigo child. I'm not, but that's probably the indigo child thing. That's another thing.
Oh, I'd love to know what you think about that one.
So, I think that there are generation changes. Now, if one was to look at definitions of indigo children, I very easily fit that description.
You
But
do.
I think at the same time that there are other cultural things going on to lead children of my generation to be different. Different changes in behavioral styles, different changes in discipline, different changes like that. So whether or not that's something that's different or inborn, and then the children of the indigo children are supposed to be called the crystal children, and I have my own thoughts on crystals, which I will do a deep dive on someday. But
I want to be there for that too.
Okay, we'll come back then. All right.
Yes, I have many thoughts.
Yes. I think we both have lots of thoughts on here. Oh gosh. So the next one that we've kind of touched on a little bit, and now this I do plan on doing a very deep dive on and having all sorts of evidence in front of me, but I think this is important to talk about because this is the biggest rumor or misconception about tarot, is that tarot is evil. And that tarot is against the Bible, and that the Bible says that tarot is naughty, and that we should be afraid. And there are people who don't want anyone to bring a tarot deck into their house, and all those kind of things. So I'm going to let you go on that, and we've got plenty of time.
Thank you so much. Okay, here we're going to start. Tarot can really hurt you. I have a paper cut on my finger that I got from a tarot deck just the other day from shuffling badly.
Oh my
tarot
God,
can draw blood. Yeah, that can happen, right? But that is about. Sorry?
I hope you had some polysporin on hand. That's dangerous.
That is about the only way that a tarot card or a deck of tarot cards might be dangerous, is you might get a paper cut. The idea that tarot is somehow not safe is, man, this runs up my spine sideways in so many ways.
Yeah.
It is true that, anything we put our belief into, like if you use a tarot deck to scare yourself or scare someone else, the results of that could be dangerous. But that's not tarot's fault. That's you being stupid. Tarot's not responsible for that.
The same thing with talking boards. We were just talking last week that it's probably not a 101 activity, but it's ink and cardstock. It's anything that happens with it. If you go into a Ouija board session and you just want to scare yourself, you're gonna scare yourself. And I think that's why there's so many negative stories, because people think that it's a doorway to the darkness or attracting negative energy. Well, if that's what you think, then that's what you're gonna get. And then you gotta call my ass in to clean it out, and that's gonna cost you.
So biblically, and here's the thing, I grew up in a religious household, not like a mean religious household, like a social justice religious household. There was such a thing, and there still is. But I know the Bible really, really well. And I can tell you that, there are passages in the Bible, most specifically in Paul's first letter to the Corinthians, right around like 1 Corinthians 14, where that beautiful passage about love is patient, love is kind. If I speak in the tongue of men and angels, but have not love, I'm a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. That bit also speaks of gifts, and specifically speaks of the gifts of prophecy. Exactly. So if people want to get biblical on you, just send them to Corinthians.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
And I heard somebody say, well, if God wanted to talk to you, then he'd just talk directly and he wouldn't use cards. But I seem to recall a talking burning bush that he used to talk to Moses. So if that's not divination, if that's not augury, I don't know what is. I'm actually going through the Bible. So I grew up in a rather progressive Anglican church, but I spent my teen years in a fundamentalist cult. And so, yeah, I've read the Bible through and through many times, and it was reading the Bible that actually ended up giving me an anxiety disorder because I was terrified to like sin in my sleep. And yeah, ended up being incredibly unhealthy, and then, led to me leaving. So I think that I would like to see a lot of examination. I think that there's for and against in the Bible, and people are really wanting to first of all, like tarot, as you said, like, so I said, Renaissance, you say 1390, so there's no mention of tarot in the Bible because tarot wasn't invented yet.
Did not exist then, right?
Yeah, and there's talk of like sorcerers, and there is talk of divination. So I'm actually going through the Bible like one chapter at a time and looking for verses on magic and divination. And the Bible is full of magic. The Bible is full of divination. For instance, well, yeah, I'm about halfway through Exodus. Yes, I know that means 22 years to get through the Bible, but it's all I can handle because it's pretty triggering, especially Old Testament stuff. But Marissa. Marissa's one of my mods. Jacob, he had a divination cup, and that ended up being like part of what was lost. Is that he lost, or his brother took his divination cup. So that to me sounds like tea leaf reading or reading coffee dregs or wine dregs.
Or scrying or anything.
Exactly. And on, I believe it's day, so God invented light on the first day, or created light on the first day. He didn't create the sun until the fifth day, but he created plants on the fourth day. On the third day, he created the stars, and he created the signs in the stars. So there are signs in the stars. Why are they there if we're not supposed to read them? Are they messages in the stars from God? That makes sense to me. I show this last one. Gosh, there's another one. It was a really good point too. I don't want to leave this. What was that verse? I'm trying to remember. But yes, so the Bible says some very contradictory things about divination. Oh, this is what I want to say. There's a rich and deep tradition of Jewish astrology. And when the Bible says to not seek out astrologers and not seek out sorcerers, it is referring to Canaanites if you look at the context. And the reason I just kind of discovered this of why the Canaanites were hated so much. So one of Noah's grandsons, his youngest grandson, was Canaan, and Noah passed out drunk and naked, and Canaan was a little embarrassed, and he put a blanket over his drunken, naked grandfather, and that woke Noah up, and he was so mad that he banished Canaan. And for the rest of the Bible, the Israelites hate the Canaanites because of that. You can go to a Jewish astrologer, you just can't go to a Canaanite astrologer. So there's some discrepancy there of this rich history of Jewish astrology. So why would that be okay? And the three wise men who went to go see Jesus in the manger, we say wise men, but they were magi. They were magicians, and they were bringing gifts to the new Messiah because they followed a star. So we're not supposed to follow the star.
In a larger sense, too, though. I am very anti-Christian supremacy. I'm very anti the idea that the Bible needs to be anything other than this religion's book of myths. And there are many religions' books of myths. And I don't personally have to answer to anyone regarding the Bible because it is not my chosen book of myths.
Yeah. I think it comes up for me when I have clients who say, like, I really want a tarot reading from you. I think that you're good, and I think that you could really help me with some issues that I'm dealing with, but I'm scared because I was brought up being told that it's wrong and that it's evil. And so I like to have some knowledge to be able to say, this isn't evil. The Bible doesn't say that it's bad. Here are some scriptures to say that what I'm doing is actually supported. And this is like I feel like when I look into that collective unconscious, I feel like I've had an experience with God, and this is an assistive device for me. So how dare you say that my cane or my walker or my glasses or my hearing aid is evil? So That's
Right,
kind of
right.
my thought on
You
that.
know what else I will say to them is that tarot originated from Christian Italy and is filled with Christian symbolism.
Absolutely.
Tarot itself originally is Christian. So there's that too. So we have a lot of ammunition there.
Black Swan. So I don't think I said hi to you when you came in. I probably missed a few people.
Oh, here's one. Do you have to know and use astrology to be a good tarot reader? No, you don't.
Nope.
There is a nice dovetail there, but no, you don't.
Yeah. In fact, if you are to, you can't really see my book collection, but there are several books back here. One of them is Astrology for Dummies. One of them is Beginner's Guide to Astrology, because I don't know astrology very well. So I know a little bit about horoscopes and personality. I am certainly a Taurus. My daughter is certainly a Libra with a Leo rising, but beyond that, I have very limited astrology knowledge. I would like to be able to know astrology, and I would like to be able to offer astrology readings as a professional service. I'm not there yet. I'm always learning new things. So that's kind of like the next thing that I want to learn. It's a lot of trigonometry, and yeah. And I didn't take trigonometry in high school, so it's a lot of math, it's a lot of angles. So yeah, I'm a little nervous to, and so yeah, like I can tell you about, we're currently in, we just finished the month of Gemini. We're currently in Cancer. It's a full moon today. I actually am not sure but I don't know about like the 4th house and the 5th node and all that stuff. That's a new language to me. I'd love to learn someday, but yeah. And apparently like a really good astrologer can name their price and have that be pretty high. So there's also—
And they are hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
A good astrologer is hard to find because not only do they have to understand how it all works, they have to be able to speak it to us in the language that we can understand.
Right.
Like so often I've had my chart done, like, well, you've got Venus in your 3rd house and you know what that means. No, tell me. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's the same for us with tarot. Like, oh, that guy is such a Knight of Swords reversed.
Right. Exactly. You got to be able to explain it.
Somebody on like Jackass or like, that kind of stuff. But that means something to you and I, but it's not going to mean something to the random person. Or like, I'll look at the cards and I'm just like, and that means nothing to my client. So I do not want to, I said 7:45, we're going to discuss consent and tarot, because I do want to get on this. And
I'm ready. I'm so excited.
I'll give you a lowdown on the situation that happened online last week. So, big celebrity guru, beauty guru on YouTube with 9 million subscribers. She took a year off of YouTube, and during that time, she was involved in some lawsuits and some heavy personal stuff, and then came back and gave this like, hey, this is where I've been. And she talked about having some really difficult and interesting and eye-opening spiritual experiences. And then near the end of her video, she said, oh, by the way, and tarot readers, I don't want no psychic readings, no tarot readings, no this, no that, no nothing. And I'm like, who the hell are you, lady, to dictate my content on the internet? As long as I'm not as long as I'm not violating the terms of service, I can post whatever the hell I want. And you're a celebrity, so now that was my first reaction. I waited until the next morning before I made a statement on that, and I decided that I was going to completely respect her wishes. I had done a tarot reading on her before of Will She Return? And everything I said in that reading was accurate. So, 0.1 me. So with her having 9 million subscribers, she had said things like, tarot readers speak death over, and that it was violating, and that, I can't remember the other thing she said, but she said some really nasty things. And, the internet of hate and all of her like stalker fans descended on all of the tarot readers who had done readings on her. And they were demanding that I take my past videos down. And I'm like, I'm not going to take down my past videos. I won't make more, because like to make more right now would be a really dick move. But I had questions like, ever? Like, what if she has had some involvement with some other YouTube celebrities? So if I'm doing a reading on, and I know you don't really follow pop culture much, but if I'm doing a reading on like Jeffree Star or Shane Dawson, and this lady comes up, am I just forbidden to say her name? Can I just like ever? She apparently used to believe in tarot and has had some sort of religious spiritual conversion. And like she told 9 million people that I speak death. And so some people are like, well, maybe she had a bad experience with with another tarot reader. And part of the lawsuit that she was in over the past year was suing a drama gossip channel for defamation. But she had said something like, well, you know, gossip channels are going to say what they're going to say. I can't do anything about those. But tarot readers, get your name out of my mouth. And that spread a lot of misconception and a lot of fear. And then, yeah, the haters I was getting were going to the point of accusing me of spiritually raping her. In fact, I got that comment repeatedly to the point where I needed to turn off comments because
some tarot readers believe this. Even some tarot readers believe that to do a third-party reading or to do any sort of reading without consent is akin to rape. And to me, that is really an unfair thing to say to people who have actually been raped.
Yeah, I agree. And if you are to watch the video, or if anyone is to watch the video that I made, it was made with a lot of love. It was made with a lot of care. It was made with a high degree of professionalism. And, you know, like I've had celebrity clients before. And if I have a celebrity client who's sitting at my table, who's like paying me, I'm not going to talk about their reading. And you know, when I told Jen I had a celebrity client and she's like, it's Celine Dion. I know it's a Canadian woman, so it's got to be Celine Dion. No, it was not Celine Dion. But so I told Jenna, like, you know, hey, this is who I read for, but I'm not going to publicly say who the woman I read for was. And she's, you know, a award-winning Hollywood bigwig. So that level of confidentiality is there with an actual client.
Mm-hmm.
But for me to use tarot to essentially speculate on a Hollywood celebrity, I think that when they are in the public light, that they give a piece of their privacy up as a part of their career choice. So I don't think that for me to do a tarot reading on Kim and Kanye's divorce, or on I want to do one on Melania Trump at some point soon. I don't think that is a spiritual violation, because you know, they're already out there. And if a gossip channel can just say, well, I think that they're going to get divorced, how is that different than me saying, well, this card represents him, this card represents him, and this card represents divorce? And when I'm looking at, I'm just dipping it into the collective unconscious that we're all connected in. I am not stealing anyone's energy. I am not violating everyone. And I also think about like how many, like, when I do a reading for one person, nobody lives in a vacuum. So we're affected by each other. And if a court card comes up, that is often indicative of another person. So if somebody says, am I going to find my true love, or where can I meet my true love? And I pull the 5 of Wands reversed. Well, that's like, okay, that looks like, you know, a sports team of some kind. Maybe you should, you know, join a club, join a sports league. That means that I'm affecting the future of the man or woman that she meets at that sports league. If someone says like, you know, I'm concerned about my mother's health, I'm doing a reading for her health. If I'm doing a reading on like, if somebody says like, what's my career situation like? I really like my new job. And I say, you know, there's a coworker who's going to be a bit of a gossiper. That's in a way a third party reading, because we don't live in vacuums. Sure. We are social creatures and we interact. And you know, I often have parents asking me about like troubled teens and how I can, what's the best method. Exactly.
How can you help them? Right. And this is where, okay, so a couple things. First of all, I'm perfectly okay with tarot as entertainment. You know, tarot is big. There is room in tarot to do the deepest, most spiritual work, the most healing work, and also to entertain, you know, doing readings about celebrities or whatever. And I agree that if you're going to be a celebrity, people are going to talk about you. People are going to think about you. And if they're going to talk about you and they're going to think about you, then you can read tarot about them too. There's no difference. Now, when we talk about our clients and this concept of third-party readings, there are some readers who just will rephrase the question to completely avoid ever talking about a person in the client's life. But, as you say, do they live alone on an island? And we're talking about how many coconuts are in the tree? I mean, how do we not talk about the people around us when that is the majority of what makes up our lives?
Right.
So if it's about healing, if it's about helping, if it's about dynamics or strategy, I'm all down for it. Here is an example, and I actually did get this question at the table one day. Here is an example of a third-party reading I will not do. My husband and I have been divorced for a year. He is now remarried. I'm curious about his sex life with his new wife.
Yeah,
that was a question I did not answer. However, what I did was, okay, so what's up here? Either there was something weird between her and him in the bedroom, and she's wondering if that behavior continued. So let's talk about what that was. Or she's still not over him, and the idea of him having sex with this woman who is now his wife is upsetting. Let's figure out why she asked the question and do the reading on that.
That's exactly how I would handle that too. Like, I know that it's probably on your mind right now, but how is that going to impact you? That me answering that question is not going to be healthy for you, no matter how that comes out. And so that's like not for the best use of, or not for the benefit of the client. But yeah, like I said, also with it being an assistive tool and me looking at, guy asked me if I want to come over and Netflix and chill, and me doing a tarot reading on his intentions. If I see something that's questionable, and, I decline to go over to his house, I don't think that that's inappropriate at all. I think that's why I use tarot.
Strategy. We need to use tools of strategy.
Yeah. And Marissa said something here. And I'm sorry if I'm not totally paying attention to the chat. If something comes up, mods, if you want to, just give me a heads up. But yeah, about praying for people without permission. I don't think that you can always have permission or know the full story. I think that if you're sending someone some love and good wishes, that it doesn't really matter what God you're praying to. Because Jesus is my ex-boyfriend. We had a bad breakup, so I'm probably not going to ask him for stuff. And I would think that if somebody else is asking him to do something for me, that he might not be cool with me. But I'm not going to stop someone because it's almost more for them than it is for me.
Sure.
Because it's helping their anxiety. It's like, I can't do anything but send you thoughts and prayers. So here's some prayers because I hope that you're okay. And, if you're going by and if you think of first date, if a kid passes out on the playground and you're the one to walk by, you're not obligated to help, but I would help. And I'm not going to ask that parent's permission before performing CPR or calling 911. I'm going to do what I need to do and deal with the repercussions later. And, hopefully the parents are okay with me saving their child's life. You're welcome, by the way. So
here's and here in the U.S. we have Good Samaritan laws that protect us in that case.
Yeah.
So here's a question from Becky Beck. What if you want to find out the welfare of someone who has basically disappeared from your life? I mean, I do that for people all the time, again, and if it's like, the ones I have a hard time with are like, this person really screwed me over. Is something bad going to happen to them? I want something bad to happen to them. Those, there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
But if you're looking, is this person okay? What's going on with this person? I've been thinking about this person. I'll totally pull cards on that. I have no issues with that. You?
The only time I won't do that is if they've disappeared because of some sort of nefarious means. So the one thing that I will, and every tarot reader has their own limits. The one thing I won't read on is active serious crime. So if there's a suspicion that they've gone missing because of some sort of foul play or abduction, I would prefer to not get involved with that and just let the police do their job. That's a boundary for me. And
Sure.
I don't mind doing who stole my bike. I'll do that. But I will do older cases. So I did. I know you're not super big on pop culture, but last year the Netflix special came out about Tiger King, and one of the ladies, Carol Baskin, was accused of killing her husband in like the 80s and 90s. The case has been opened and shut twice. It's just basically he's a missing person, and there's possible like stuff going on. So I did did Carol Baskin kill her husband? And I don't mind doing that. I did a reading. Actually, it's coming out on Thursday or Wednesday of the Zodiac Killer. And so I don't mind doing kind of like older crime like that. I wouldn't mind doing like Jack the Ripper or something like that, but I'm not going to do like something that's really recent. I think that would cause more harm than good. And yeah.
It's hard. I work with police call me to help with these kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actively involved with the police doing this kind of work. And there's reasons not to do it if you don't feel called to it, because like rarely do I find the work that I do traumatic, but I've had some moments in that kind of work where I've really helped, where I've been able to help the police find the person while they're still alive. And that's been very gratifying.
And I think for me, it's a confidence thing.
Sorry?
I think for me, it's a confidence thing. Like, I know I'm good, and I know that I'm very accurate, but I feel like when the stakes are somebody is dead and somebody needs to go to jail, that I feel like if I was wrong, the consequences for that would be so dire that I'm not comfortable yet. And there are other, like, I know that there are readers who will not touch health readings. I know there are readers who will not read for pregnant ladies. I know there are readers who will not deal with anything legal because they don't want to give legal advice.
Right. Right.
So I think we all have our boundaries with that. And yeah, one of the things that was said to me in those comments of the nasty comments that were left was something like, the first thing every tarot reader learns is that you never read for another person without their consent. And I'm like, well, the 20 years I've been reading tarot, I seem to have misplaced my handbook. Could you please cite for me? Could you please cite for me the sacred text where that is written? They didn't reply.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I heard, how there can be like jealousy between local readers?
Yeah.
Years ago, there was a local reader who was not happy with me. And it came back that she said, Christiana doesn't know the first thing about tarot reading. And of course, the person she said this to was like, well, obviously she does because look. And she said, no, I saw her at a psychic fair and she didn't have crystals on her table. Putting crystals on your table is the first thing about tarot reading.
Did you misplace your handbook too?
I did.
Maybe there was a shortage at the printer.
Yeah, no. Oh, well. Oh my gosh, Melanie is here. Melanie, do you know my friend Melanie Pardes? She's such a lovely lady. Good to see her. Yeah.
So I know that we are getting close to the end of here. I know I've missed some other ones, some comments, and I should go through these. Mods, if there's anything big I've missed, I don't know if you're able to highlight. I know some of my mods have some tech issues going on with internet, and that that can affect internet. And I'm actually finding, and this is something that I'm having difficulty admitting, now that I'm not just in my 40s, but I'm now 41, and I know that you're probably going to be laughing at the young little kipper. I have reading glasses, and I've never really needed them, but just even in the past month, I'm finding I need my glasses. And,
I remember that. Yep. And in fact, okay, so tarot adjacent story on that.
Okay.
When I was going through that phase of needing reading glasses, I stopped reading with any deck other than a weight deck because my eyesight was getting so bad, and I can always identify a weight card.
Yeah.
And so for the longest time, I was just reading with weight decks until I actually gave in and got actual real glasses. And
yeah.
There. So.
And do I have them right here? Because I got to show you. So I have another pair that are older. I think they're in here. Are these the ones? Okay, so these are the ones that I'm supposed to wear. The other ones that I bought new, I got them when Merlin was really little, and yeah, they got chewed. The lenses are still okay, and the frames were they were only like 100, and now I got like the ring light glowing on me. So the frames were like 150, so I'm hoping that they can take the lenses and just put them in new frames, and it's going to cost me 150 and not. Because
So
yeah,
the trick,
no
the trick with the ring light and glasses is you have to put the ring light down.
Okay.
And you can still get the benefit of the light, and it won't reflect in your glasses too much.
All right.
There's the trick.
So let me read these questions. Okay. I've got a little reflection there. Okay. I've got the screen now. Great. Now I'll put them on the end of my nose. Okay. Let's see if I'm missing any questions. Okay. Yeah, Cap, I see that's a tough situation. And there are going to be some records on that you can look into, but yeah. Okay, so I know we've got some tough stuff going on in the comments, and I feel badly for not responding to these, but I do think that we have got through questions. So I do want to. I didn't mean to highlight that. Okay, so mods, if I could ask a favor, please, if you could go to Christiana's channel and give her channel link. So if you could all please subscribe to Christiana, because she's awesome, and her book is Fortune Stellar. It is available on her website, which is ChristianaGaudetTarot.com. That's your website, right? Okay.
Yep. Christiana Gaudet. There's two. They both take you to the same place, ChristianaGaudet.com or tarotbychristiana.com. My YouTube channel is Christiana Gaudet, and you can find all my books on Amazon. And that's pretty much that. And StarCon. Consider coming to StarCon. StarCon will be January 21st through 23rd, 2022. It is a hybrid conference. We will be in person in Palm Beach Gardens and also online on Excel Events. And the new website will be up shortly. It is starcon.com, STAARCON. And we have a YouTube channel. It is StarCast, STAARCAST.
Okay, sounds good. And
Thank you.
January I will be knee deep in Canadian snow and looking for a place to drink some adult beverages on a patio with you and Jenna.
Yeah, poolside, man.
Yes, so we've loved having you here. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you to my mods. I have amazing mods. And thank you to all of you who have joined us. Actually, Christiana, it's funny, in my videos lately, I've started, because I was ending them by telling people to stay safe and wear a mask. And then I no longer have to do that. So I was looking for a way to end my streams. And I was kind of telling people that I love you and I'm glad you're here. And the last few I ended up ending with, but what do I know? I'm just a simple tailor. So you being a Star Trek fan, I thought you'd like that, because Garrick always said, he dropped some like major truth. And he's just, what do I know? I'm just a simple tailor. So there's my Star Trek reference.
Okay. I love that we have that in common too. I'm rewatching Voyager right now, in fact.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Barclay was the unexpected hero. Like, yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Anyway, enough Star Trek talk. We'll talk about that another time. Or we'll do a stream just on Star Trek. Who knows? Okay. Thank you so much to everyone to join us. If no one has told you today, I want you to know that I love you, that I am glad you're here, and that I am thankful for you. If you'd like to book a private reading with myself or with Christiana, I will edit the details in the description. And thank you all, and I will see you later. Bye, pumpkins.